and like, share, and subscribe to the channel. What an enthralling day of Test match cricket we just had between India and Australia. The top two teams in the World Test Championships, and they played like that. It was a continuous back and forth between two very good quality pace bowling attacks. India, having won the toss, decided to bat first on that spicy wicket at Perth. Looking back, it was probably not the right decision. Jasprit Bumrah was the stand-in captain because Rohit Sharma was missing in action for the first test, decided to bat first. India went in with a relatively new team. Nitish Kumar Reddy was making his debut along with Harshit Rana. And surprisingly, India left both Ravindra Jadeja and Ravichandran Ashwin in the bench in favor of Washington Sundar. That's a record of 836 test wickets on the bench. So you would have probably thought that it was a bold decision, but the decision to bat first on that pretty spicy track on Perth against that Australian bowling attack didn't turn out to be the kind of decision that the Indian top order would have expected. The ball was bouncing everywhere. It's difficult for a team from the subcontinent to come to terms with the Australian conditions right away. And Perth is the most difficult places to start. It's the Optus Cricket Stadium where Australia haven't lost test match yet. It's not the old WACA ground, but still it bounces just as much. And from the first couple of overs, the Indian cricket team were all at sea. Yashasvi Jaiswal found out very quickly that it was not the Wankhede Stadium or the other pitches in India that were conducive for stroke play. He tried to force a shot of Mitchell Stark and was caught at gully by Nathan McSweeney. That was the beginning of India's misery. On wickets like these, you need to graft in order to score runs. KL Rahul, who had been very awfully out of touch, was batting well. He was always batting well. He always bats well outside of India. Most of his problems are when it comes to turning balls. And he was batting well. He was unfortunately given out. He should have never been given out. But the Indian cricket team was struggling. Devdutt Padikkal, who was batting in place of Shubman Gill, who was unfortunately injured, played 23 balls without scoring a single run. It's difficult to rotate strikes on these pitches, but you have to have that attacking mentality. If you continue to try and defend every ball, you will miss the scoring opportunities. Even when the balls were in his legs, he failed to get them away. And Hazelwood and Stark, they were bowling the perfect channel. KL Rahul and Devdutt Padikkal, they were struggling. Even though Rahul was finding his touch, Devdutt Padikkal, it was becoming more and more difficult for him as the bowlers were not giving any freebies. He was dismissed, and then came Virat Kohli. And as has been the case with Virat for the last couple of test matches, once again he failed to deliver. Once again, that same mistake. In turning tracks, once again he plays on the front foot. On bouncy tracks, once again he plays on the front foot. Josh Hazelwood, who has been his nemesis kind of in recent test and one day matches, found the exact similar way to dismiss him. In the T20 match between India and Australia in the T20 World Cup, if you recall, he had bowled a short delivery on a bouncy track and Virat tried to pull it and was caught out. Here, once again, he was caught in slips because the ball bounced off length. This pitch was a bouncy pitch and you should try and play from the back foot. But Virat Kohli, a player of his stature, hasn't managed to correct this technical flaw of his. Too many times he keeps getting onto the front foot and keeps getting out. Experts like Sunil Gavaskar have often suggested that Kohli shouldn't take that front foot stride every single time. He should try and play up the back foot, especially in pitches that bounce a lot. But somehow Virat always tends to make the mistakes, and once again, that ultimately led to his downfall. India was struggling for 32 for 3 inside 10 overs. Sorry, 20 overs. And in walked Rishabh Pant. Rishabh Pant has been India's savior in the last couple of years, especially in the test match. Once again, it was his aggressive batting that kind of brought India back into the game somehow. KL Rahul, after being controversially given out, India were reeling at 51 for 4 at lunch with and Dhruv Jurel was dismissed short after. It was Pant and debutant Nitish Kumar Reddy who put on an impressive partnership of near 50 runs that brought India somehow back into the game. But Rishabh Pant would be disappointed in the manner in which he got out. He had just been given a life by Pat Cummins, who dropped him. He should have been a little more careful because that partnership between him and Nitish Kumar Reddy was slowly but in bringing India back into the game. India were 121 for 7 when Pant was dismissed after a partnership of almost 50 runs. On that wicket, that partnership proved to be crucial because India would have folded for much less had Pant and Reddy struggled. And Nitish Kumar Reddy, for a player who was playing his first test match, looked very good against the turning ball and against the bouncy ball as well. India were bowled out for 150 and it seemed like they are on the verge of defeat once again. This test match wouldn't go for 2 or 3 days. But then again, the pitch was fresh, and most of the Australian batsmen weren't in form either. And they had to face Jasprit Bumrah, who is undoubtedly the best bowler in all three formats right now. And Bumrah bowled like he was the number one bowler in the world. Having dismissed Nathan McSweeney rather cheaply, he should have got rid of Manas Labuschagne as well. Of the very next ball, Virat Kohli dropped an absolute sitter. In his eagerness to throw the ball and celebrate, he dropped the catch. And Manas would have been gone on that same over. But Bumrah made amends. In the next over, he dismissed Usman Khawaja, and of the very next ball, he got rid of Steven Smith. Smith, who has been rather prolific against India in the Border Gavaskar Trophy, was dismissed for a fast ball duck. He averages 65 in the Border Gavaskar Trophy versus India. So to dismiss him cheaply was a great achievement for India, especially when you have got only 150 runs on the board. And from that moment, India never looked behind. It was becoming increasingly difficult to bat on that wicket. It was not easy, and the Indian bowlers realized that if you get the balls in the right areas, it would be difficult for the Australians also to score runs. Travis Head, who has been India's nemesis of late, tried to hit his way out. He hit a couple of boundaries of Harshit Rana, but then Rana got him out with a perfect delivery. His first wicket was Travis Head, and it was an absolute jaffer that he got him out with. Something that he will recall and remember for the rest of his life. With Head having dismissed, it was India who was on top all of a sudden, and Manas Labuschagne, who was struggling, he was batting like a tail ender. He had no confidence in his abilities whatsoever. At one point, Manas was batting on two, and he had faced almost 50 deliveries. He was eventually dismissed for 2 runs of 52 deliveries. Manas Labuschagne, who will be an instrumental part of Australia's batting in this tour, he's struggling for form. He has been struggling for form for quite some time. Even in the last couple of series as well, Manas hadn't been batting well. And today as well, The longer he stayed out there, he didn't look comfortable. And India kept on picking up wickets. Bumrah picked up four. He Even Siraj picked up two wickets. And Australia was 67 for 7 at the close of play. And India have a lead of now 83 runs. And Australia are 3 wickets in hand. So India can actually take a lead. The second day and the third day will probably be the best days for batting. And if India can somehow get Australia out for the next 10 or 15 or 20 runs, it might happen that they have a lead of say 100 runs. For the first time since 1952, 17 wickets were lost in the first day in Perth. Australia lost 7 wickets. Now looking at that pitch, if had it happened in the subcontinent, there would have been so many criticisms. If you lose 17 wickets on a track, then there would be some questions about the pitch. But there would be no questions because it's in Australia, it's a bouncy track. The ball was bouncing and it was the deficiency in techniques of the batters. But whenever the ball turns and somehow you lose 10, 15 wickets in a day, somehow the pitch always gets a bad rating from the ICC. Wonder what the ICC will think of this pitch. Was it underprepared? Was it a bit too fresh? Because the Australians too struggled on it. They lost 7 wickets for 67 runs. It's not the perfect pitch, no one can argue with that. When Indians were batting, the commentators were saying that it's a nearly 300 wicket. It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't that difficult as well. Now that Australia have lost 7 wickets for 67 runs on that very pitch, what will the commentators say now? Probably we'll be waiting for their analysis from that. But India need to get rid of Alex Carey tomorrow as soon as possible. But even if they restrict Australia to say 70 or 80 runs, the focus should be on India's batting. Of late, that has been their major cause for concern. It has always been the bowlers who have brought us back into the game. Even today, after such a poor performance from the batsmen, it was again the bowlers who fought hard and brought India back into the game. And all this good work would be of no use if the batsmen don't score runs. The mentality of scoring quick runs and not grafting it out in the middle have essentially hurt us. Test cricket is the longest format in the game. And if India are to have any success, they need to bat well. They need to score some heavy runs, especially that top order. Will India be able to dig deep and make a comeback into this test match? Or will Australia weather the initial storm and fight back like they usually do? Let me know in the comment section what you feel. And if you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.